Hi, I hope everyone's well and you're not getting too bored being stuck inside. Um, I'm sure you're all missing beavers loads, so I thought I'd put together some of these sessions for us to do so that we can still earn our badges even though we're stuck at home. So there'll be some short videos and some activities to do afterwards. Alright, this is our first one and it's all about nutrients and healthy eating, and it's going to go towards getting us our cook badge, which is a badge a lot of you have nearly earned. So here we go. The human body is a very complex thing, and in order to work properly, it needs nutrients. So we get this nutrients from the food that we eat. What happens is we chew up food in our mouths, and then it will travel down into our stomach where it is digested by our stomach acid, which means that it's broken down into lots of tiny little parts. And then it will travel through our intestines, which will pick out all the useful bits our body can use, and the rest of it's gotten rid of as waste. So we need more than just one type of nutrients to work properly though, we need lots, which is why we have to eat lots of different foods. And if someone is getting all the nutrients they need in all the right amounts, then we call this having a balanced diet. A good example of what happens if you don't have a balanced diet is pirates. So you might have heard the word scurvy being used by pirates. And scurvy is a condition that would affect people who went to sea because they wouldn't be getting enough vitamins or minerals in their diet. What would happen is they'd eat all the fruit and vegetables in the first few weeks, or it would all rot because it doesn't last very long, and then they wouldn't be able to have any more for months and months while they're out at sea because there wasn't any available. So they weren't getting any of the important nutrients in their diet that they would get from these. And as a result of this, they would get scurvy, which made them very tired and achy, and it would make their gums go all green and start to bleed, which is not very nice, but the body couldn't work properly because it didn't have the right nutrients. So that's why we need to have a balanced diet. So what nutrients do we need in order to survive? Humans need carbohydrates, fat, protein, fiber, and vitamins and minerals in order to survive. And we also need water. So how can we work out how to have a balanced diet? Well, luckily there's something called the Eat Well Guide, which has been made by experts to help us make a balanced diet. And what it does is it shows us what different categories food go into and what they give us and how much we should be having of them. So should we have a look at those? So our first category is fruit and vegetables. And these are important because they give us vitamins and minerals. So we should be having about 5 a day of these, and it should make up about a third of our diet that we have every day in order to be healthy. Our second category is starchy foods, and these are things like bread, grains, cereal, potatoes, and other things like that. And they're important because they give us carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates are something that gives our body energy, but they're structured in such a way that as our body breaks them down, it takes a long time to get to the energy in it. So it slowly releases energy over time rather than all in one go. This is why cereals are good for breakfast, because they give us energy throughout the day rather than in just one big go right away. So we should also be having about a third of these should make up our diet every day. Our third category is meat, fish, beans, and eggs. And this is important because they give us lots of protein as well as giving us iron and zinc. So protein's useful because it's what our body uses to grow. So it makes our muscles strong and it helps to repair damaged cells and to help us grow. So if you want to grow big and strong, you need lots of protein in your diet. This category is also important because it gives us it's good for helping to support our immune system. So it's recommended that we have this, even though it's less than how much fruit and veg and our carbohydrates, we still need quite a lot of this in our diet. And it's recommended we have a type of fish at least once a week. So our fourth category is fat, and fat is something that a lot of people are quite surprised to see on this list, but actually, even though lots of fat's bad for us, a little bit of it is still very important for our diets, because fat gives us energy just the same as carbohydrates, but instead of giving it slowly over time, fat gives us lots of energy in one go straight away. So you might notice if you've just had lots of chocolate or something, you get really hyperactive, and this is why. So the best place to find fat is usually in unsaturated oils, but you can get it in lots and lots of different foods. It's also good because it can be used to be stored as energy to use later, which is why you'll notice people who eat a lot of fat tend to get quite big. So nowadays, we don't really like to be fat, but a long time ago for ancient humans and for animals, it was a very useful survival skill because we could store the fat on our bodies and then it would keep us insulated and warm when it was cold, or it could be used as a backup supply of energy if there wasn't much food around. So you might notice animals in the winter start to stock up on food. They'll eat lots and they'll get really fat, and this is why. So it used to be a very useful survival strategy. All right. Our last category is milk and dairy products. All right, and these are useful because they give us calcium, which is really good for making our bones strong. So things like cheese, yogurt, milk, these are all dairy products. But you need to watch out for these and not have too many as well because they tend to have lots of fat in them. It's also possible to get all the goodness and nutrients that you can get from dairy products from dairy alternatives as well, things like soya milk and that. So there's also, aside from these, there's one more bonus category, which is water. And we need water because our body is made up 70% of water. So we have to drink lots in order to stay healthy. So it's recommended we have at least 6 cups of water a day in order to do this. So those are all of our categories for a healthy diet and having a balanced diet. Alright, so the next part now is there'll be some activities for you guys to do and then send off the evidence, which you can do under OSM. Your parents can find it under the tab. So hope everyone's well, and I look forward to hearing from you all soon.